weekend?
Next Friday, actually.
Yeah.
Next Friday. But, boy, for us around here, it's been here for like a month now. We're getting into it. The Atascadero Greyhounds surprised, well, pretty much no one when they won the Los Padres League last year. 5 of the last 7 LPL titles have gone to the Hounds. This year, they fully expect to bring home another one, especially with running back Trayvon Russell back for his senior year. The Hounds also have their top 2 receivers back, wideout Brandon Cohen and tight end Pat Conlon. It'll be the job of new starting quarterback Greg Denning to get them the ball. Of course, when you've dominated for as long as Atascadero has, everyone's looking to knock you down a notch. That will certainly be the case again this year.
We try and look at each game as a big game, and, you know, we've won the league for so many years now, and, you know, the success we had under Coach Welsh, you know, started it all, that we're the team everyone aims at.
We expect to win it also. It's not just our community, it's all of us. We expect to go out there, we expect to play 110%, we expect to whoop people behind.
And if there's one team that knows all about being whooped by Atascadero, it's the Paso Robles Bearcats. The Cats seem to contend for the LPL crown year after year, only to be thwarted by their rivals from the south. But this year, Paso Robles does have an answer for Trayvon Russell, and that's Brett Collins, a senior running back who rushed for almost 1,500 yards and scored 21 touchdowns last year. The goal in '98 is to complement Collins with an improved passing game. Coach Bill Stansberry knows that if they can throw the ball effectively, the Bearcats will be almost impossible to stop.
We think we can run the ball against virtually anybody, but we've got to be able to throw the ball better to complement that.
I know there's a lot of high expectations for our team. We had a real successful season last year. I myself, a lot of big expectations, a lot of other returning seniors on the team, and hopefully it'll be a good thing.
And tomorrow we continue our previews with a look at the Cabrillo Conquistadors, also out of the Los Padres League. Some NFL news now involving a local.
When you talk about the teams to beat in the Los Padres League, you have to start with the Greyhounds of Atascadero. They've won 5 of the last 7 league titles, but this year teams appear like they're catching up. Everyone looks like they're better than they were a year ago. The run of CIF titles is over for Atascadero. If they want to accomplish that feat again, they'll need a lot from these feet. 2-time All-CIF running back Trayvon Russell is back for his senior year.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we were the team who lost the streak, and we got to regain it.
Russell has done his part to get better.
You know, he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, faster, and you know, he had a good spring, good summer. He's improved his receiving skills, so I think, you know, we have an extra threat there.
Russell will be running behind an experienced offensive line, led by Blaze Cheney and John McDaniel. Last year's surprising first-round playoff exit inspired the big dogs to work even harder.
There has been a lot of people in the weight room, and more often people are getting a lot stronger, and just everybody's trying to be a lot better than what they were last year because we don't want to go through that loss again.
It is a motivation shared by the whole team, but is the pressure of living up to past glories too much?
I don't feel pressure at all. I think everyone expects us to do what we've been doing for the last few seasons, and that's just going out playing with all we got and winning.
Look no farther than the Los Padres League for one of the best rivalries in California, Atascadero and Paso Robles.
And one of the best running back rivalries as well with Brett Collins and Trayvon Russell, both of whom expect to rush for 2,000 yards this year.
Talking about great running backs, also a great quarterback, Matt Kova, not just a quarterback, also a point guard and a pitcher, but football season, we talk Matt Kova at St. Joe, we talk quarterback.
And of course, you've got Sandy Inez and Morabay Cabrillo, who all should be much better than they were a year ago. So the question is, who's going to win this thing?
Great competition in the Los Padres League.
And speaking of great competition, we've got another team to tell you about. They won a CIF title last year in 8-man football. We'll check out the Valley Christian.
Let's send it back to you, Jerry.
All right, Steve, way to kick off the season. Nice job there. For the first time since 1994, the Atascadero Greyhounds are not starting the year off as defending CIF champions. Last year, the Greyhounds were beaten in the first round of the playoffs, ending a string of 4 consecutive CIF titles. Well, tonight, Atascadero traveling to Bakersfield to face Stockdale, and the Greyhounds lose. Final score 13-6. Now the Greyhounds gear up for their home opener with a Royal Grande next week. Should be a good one, Mike.
A year ago, the St. Joseph Knights routed Santa Clara down in Oxnard. Tonight's game was played up in Santa Maria.
Other games tonight, Atascadero loses a low-scoring contest at Stockdale. The Greyhounds fall 13-6. Also want to talk about tomorrow night's game. Santa Ynez travels to Bishop Diego. Folks, we've got plenty more ahead.
Week 1 did not go completely as planned for all of the Central Coast teams. Things were upside down for Atascadero, and those preseason pockets that were filled with gold are now empty after last week's upset loss. The Greyhounds got stuck in the starting gate and could only amass 100 yards and change in their 13-7 loss to Stockdale. Is it possible? Could Atascadero start 0-2? Scott Reese has the big board game between Atascadero and Arroyo Grande.
That would be the unthinkable, Jeff. Now, on paper, this is about as good a Week 2 matchup as you're ever going to find. A clash of the Titans, if you will. In one corner, Arroyo Grande, defending CIF champs, 42-0 winners a week ago. In the other, Atascadero, who despite a Week 1 loss, is always a favorite to win the Los Padres League and to go deep into the playoffs. Now, one notable from last week, as Jeff mentioned, the Greyhounds in their loss, they racked up just 109 yards of total offense, so you would expect that Superback Trayvon Russell and his mates had some pent-up frustration to release tonight. We head out to Memorial Stadium for all the action. AG already up 17-0 and would continue to roll. Quarterback Sean Shields deep for James Dean. Jimmy Dean. 24-0 Arroyo Grande on top. AG on defense, stellar tonight as well. Atascadero QB Greg Denning is picked off by Mike Stevenson. Tough night all night long for Denning and the Greyhounds. Late in the fourth quarter, Arroyo Grande puts it away. Shields this time hands it off to Casey Langley. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's in the end zone. That's a touchdown. 34-0 Eagles. AG recovers a fumble late in the game to seal the deal. Final score, can you believe it? Our big board game, maybe not such a big game after all. 34-0 Arroyo Grande. Atascadero is, in fact, 0-2. They will travel to Rigetti next week. AG 2-0. They will play a tough Edison squad next week. So, Jeff, Atascadero 0-2. Who'd have thunk it?
Certainly not me. I had them ranked high in my poll.
I know you did.
Rigetti has a new challenge this week against San Marcos. 1 week from tonight. Hey, I know it's only week 2, but one of the biggest games of the year taking place tonight as last year's CIF Division III champs, the Arroyo Grande Eagles, playing at Atascadero. Greyhounds have won 4 CIF titles in the last 5 years. With so much on the line, naturally, we turn it over to Friday Football Focus reporter Todd Strain. Todd?
Hey, thanks, Mike. A very big game indeed. The Arroyo Grande Eagles are on an absolute roll. CIF champs last year, and in Week 1, all systems go as they thrashed McLean Fresno 42-0. Meanwhile, Atascadero suffered a rare loss as they were beaten in Bakersfield 13-6 by a very solid Stockdale team. Let's go to the action and find out if the Greyhounds could get back on track. The Greyhounds playing a little short-handed tonight. Trayvon Russell held out of the first half, disciplinary action, so it was defense early. AG with a little defense there causing the fumble, and then it's Atascadero's turn. Not much going early on, but hey, the Greyhounds, or the Atascadero, the Arroyo Grande special teams, very special indeed as they block the punt there. That sets up the mighty Casey Langley. He goes in from 1 yard in. Watch out, referee, 7-0 Arroyo Grande. It's time for some AGD. Look at this. Read, react, and wrap. Look at Jason Simonson do all 3. The Eagle ground game starts to rumble. Late in the first, Casey Langley this side. 13 yards, this was a great steal. Add on 15 yards for the face mask. And hey, Arroyo Grande can simply block. Look at number 32 here, top of your screen, with the pancake. The AGO lays more hits than Hall & Oates. 2 plays later, it's Blake Bigelow. 27-yard field goal, 10-0 Eagles. AG back on O. And what's this? An AG pass. That's about as rare as a blue M&M. Sean Shields to Colin Vidal inside the 40. And the Eagles are liking this air attack, folks. Shields back to the air. Watch the great square-in route by Jeremy Dennison right here. That's good for a first down, keeping the drive alive. 3 plays later, it's Casey Langley. He's going to take it the far side, 3rd and goal. Trust me, folks, he's going to go far away, but he's going to get in at the last moment with the dive. 17-0 AG. Late in the second quarter, they would go on a roll, 34-0. Very impressive game for Arroyo Grande. Next week, Arroyo Grande hosts another school from Fresno. This time it's Powerhouse Edison, while Atascadero is at Rigetti. Let's turn it back over to you guys.
All right, Todd, good job there.
Let's go to the action and find out if the Greyhounds could get back on track. The Greyhounds playing a little short-handed tonight. Trayvon 13-6 by a very solid Stockdale team. Let's go to the action and find out if the Greyhounds could get back on track. The Greyhounds playing a little short-handed tonight. Trayvon Russell held out of the first half, disciplinary action.
So season showdown tonight at Atascadero, defending CIF champion Arroyo Grande, taking on the Greyhounds.
That's right, Ty. The Greyhounds lost their opener. Well, the Eagles looked impressive in an opening night win against McLean. Arroyo was impressive again tonight against Atascadero. Kids not too interested in the game, but Casey Langley was. This 2-yard plunge put the
put the Eagles up early 7-0. It was 10-0 when Arroyo Grande, when Langley hit Tatered again, this time from the 3, making the short yards count. 17-0 Eagles. More Arroyo Grande. Colin Vidal hit James Dean long, 39 yards for the score. 24-0, wide open at the half. In the second half, Blake Bigelow kicking the Greyhounds while they were down with this field goal. That made it 27-0. And then the Eagles defense chimed in. Mike Stevenson here picking off the Greyhound pass, and you know what happens. Great defense frequently leads to easy offense, and that was the case. Casey Langley, once again, his third touchdown run of the night, all of 32 yards, and mercilessly for Atascadero, that was the end of the scoring on the night. Big win, 34-0 Arroyo Grande. They win for the first time in 3 meetings against Atascadero. The Greyhounds fall to 0-2. They've managed just 6 points in 2 contests this season.
Now, also a huge game tonight in Paso Robles. The Bearcats hosting Santa Maria. Both came in.
This was not how they drew it up in the preseason at Righetti or Atascadero. Both teams entered the night a surprising 0-2. Warrior coach Greg Dickinson insists that the team's 2-headed quarterback situation is not an identity crisis, but rather a way to get playmaker Ruben Villa the ball as much as possible. Tonight, the Warriors hosted Atascadero, a team which began the year as the top-ranked team in all of Division 10, but had managed just 1 touchdown in its first 2 games. Take you out to Warrior Stadium. Hounds establishing the run right away. Trayvon Russell to his left. 12 yards inside the Warrior 40-yard line, and that sets up Greg Denning. Wants to throw, nobody open, so he tucks it away, finds a seam, cuts it back against the grain. 33 yards on the touchdown scamper. Greyhounds go 80 yards in 11 plays. It's 7-0 Atascadero. The Warriors answer on their first drive. No quarterback question today. Villa out with a separated shoulder, but not a problem. Kyle Wiley to Jeff Gonzalez, 37 yards. We are tied at 7. Late second quarter, Wiley, 17 yards over the middle to Andrew Beekman. And then Wiley to Jeremy Malcolm on the quick slant. That set up a field goal, 10-7 Warriors at the half. Third quarter, Denning on the rollout looking for his big tight end, Pat Conlon. And Conlon downfield, breaking tackles, 25 yards on the touchdown, 14-10 Atascadero. Okay, very good. Late fourth quarter, Righetti trying to come back, but Wiley's pass is tipped and intercepted by Dustin Eddy. Oh, the heartbreaker. 4 second-half turnovers by the Warriors, and Russell punches it in from the 12-yard line. Atascadero wins it by a final score of 21-10. The Warriors, those 4 second-half turnovers were a killer. Righetti really ravaged by injuries. They played a pretty good game. Russell had a big night for Atascadero, and the Greyhounds improved to 1-2.
They're not just winning, they are pumping.
Pass is tipped and intercepted by Dustin Eddy. Oh, they'll come back, but Wiley's pass is tipped and intercepted by Dustin Eddy. Oh.
But Atascadero and Righetti were still looking for their first victory in 1998, entering tonight's contest in Santa Maria. Let's find out which school broke into the win column. Atascadero's Greg Denning throws to Pat Conlon. And look at Conlon. How about the effort to put it in the end zone? Not going to be denied. 13-10, Atascadero in front. Now 14. PAT and Righetti. Billy Barbie of Righetti. The kick to Josh Kizert, who, I don't know where I'm going on that one, but we're going to go still in the third quarter here. Greg Denning, and he is picked off by Atascadero. Big play by the Greyhounds. Still in the third, Righetti trying anything to get going here. Nice little swing pass. And Righetti forced a punt. Atascadero Greyhounds. Hard to believe they haven't won yet, but on the move right there. And let's see, well, this one would end in a Atascadero win. Not great highlights there, but we'll show you the scoreboard. Final score 21-10. So Atascadero gets to 1-2. The Greyhounds play at Wainimi next Friday, while the 0-3 Righetti Warriors are at Dos Pueblos. Got better highlights,
Fans. Technical difficulties getting highlights tonight, if we can go to that board. There you go. Atascadero 21, Righetti 10. We will be all over you next week. We promised the Warriors fall to 0-3, and it was a tough night for Cabrillo. Cabrillo was shut out for the second straight
week in what should be a very, very big game. Other scores tonight, Atascadero on the road. This one's ugly, folks. Wow. 56-0. How the mighty have fallen. The Greyhounds will try their luck next week at Lompoc. Maricopa all over Pacific Central Christian, 60-14. And one more score, Temple.
Night home game against Taft of Bakersfield. Mike?
Welcome home, Hueneme. The past 2 weeks, the Vikings have played at San Diego and Hawthorne, and the Vikings have been road warriors, winning both of those contests. Tonight, Hueneme at home to play the Atascadero Greyhounds. First drive of the game, Atascadero's Trayvon Russell breaks through for the first down. 3rd and 8, junior Greg Denning hits Brandon Cohen, 15 yards, another Greyhound first down. Dustin Eddy up the middle, 16 yards, Greyhounds on the move. They're going to score, right? No, they put the ball on the ground. Hueneme comes up with it. Tough drive for Atascadero. Hueneme, incredible tonight. Jeff Garcia rolls out, finds Moses Gonzalez for 17 yards and a Viking first down. Then Garcia to the air again, hits senior Kerry Colbert, 60 yards. And that would take us to the end of the first quarter. Early second quarter, Garcia does it himself. That completes a 98-yard drive. He had 4 touchdowns in this game. 7-0 Vikings. And how about Donald Thompson? You know what? He's lost the yellow shoes there, Jerry, but he's still great.
We said.
58 yards for that touchdown. Check out the final score. Hueneme wins it 56-0.
Wow.
Hueneme gets a 3-1 on the year. What's happening to Atascadero? Next up for the Vikings is another home game, this one against the always tough Muir High School. The 1-3 Greyhounds host Lompoc next week. What a matchup tonight in San Luis Obispo County. The host Tigers.
All right, when the season began last month, we thought this was going to be a great one. Lompoc, that's a great one. Good, great, somewhere in between. And I said, yeah. Lompoc and Atascadero. Dustin Harrison is back. Dustin, these two teams have struggled. I don't think anyone could have expected that.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say it's nice to see the spice in the studio down there with the cheerleaders. Boy, they're keeping you company. Yeah, Lompoc entered tonight's games with a pleasant surprise in the backfield. Running back Anthony Perkins is now back. In the season opener, well, first of all, he missed 3 games due to injury, but in the season opener, he rushed for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. Atascadero, on the other hand, has been plagued by injuries, and they start 3 new faces in 3 very key positions. To Atascadero High School. Hey, those Doritos look real good, don't you think? Well, Lompoc would take advantage of an Atascadero interception, and from the 1, we said his name, Anthony Perkins. His back seems okay to me. Lompoc up early 7-0. A block punt by the Greyhounds would tie the score, but Lompoc would give it again to Perkins. He'd roll out, but he decides to throw it. There's Philip Wright, 75 yards. Lompoc would go up 14-7. Lompoc up 21-14, but it's Atascadero on special teams. There's the punt. Josh Keesart catches the ball at the 20. Uh-oh. You guys see what I'm seeing? He's down the sidelines. By everybody, easily, 80-yard punt return for the touchdown. Lompoc would still lead, though, after a missed PAT, 20-21. The Greyhounds would score late, though, to make it 26-21. Final score, Atascadero would hold on and beat Lompoc 34-21. Lompoc now 2-3 on the season, will play at Arroyo Grande. Atascadero 2-3 on the season, will begin play next week at Morro Bay. Now, this game had a lot of special teams. Like I said, the block punt was turned in for a touchdown for Atascadero, and then Atascadero turned around and returns the punt for 80 yards. So Atascadero special teams probably come on top on this night. Jeff, that's the story from San Luis Obispo. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Dustin, go home. Nice job. St. Joseph head coach Wayne King knows he needs a running game.
Special teams. There's the punt. Josh Keesart catches the ball at the 20. Uh-oh. You guys see what I'm seeing? He's down the sidelines. By everybody, easily, 80-yard punt return for the touchdown. Lompoc would still lead, though, after 80-yard punt return for the touchdown. Lompoc would still lead, though, after a missed PAT, 20-20.
At Ventura. Mike?
From 1993 through 1996, the Atascadero Greyhounds won 4 consecutive CIF football championships, but that must seem like a long time ago to Greyhound fans, as the team is just 1-3 this year. Tonight, Atascadero hosting Lompoc, and the Greyhounds come back and get a win. Final score 34-21. Lompoc falling to 2-3. Braves are at Arroyo Grande next week to open up their Northern League schedule for Atascadero. They begin Los Padres League play at Morro Bay. Well, times have been sure tough for both Cabrillo and Santa Maria. They are a combined 1.
Welcome back to Football Friday night. Last week, Atascadero suffered a humiliating, it was bad, 56-0 loss at Hueneme. You knew tonight they would come out fired up against Lompoc. This was a good one. The Greyhounds come out passing in the first quarter. Quarterback Matt Miranda throws a little high here, and it sails through the hands of Pat Conlon. Lompoc's Richie Lara is Johnny on the spot with the pick. Atascadero's defense then stiffens. Rocky McAllister stuffs the Braves' running game on this play. But about 4 plays later, the Braves punch it in. Lompoc's Anthony Perkins gets outside on the sweep. He's awful hard to stop. He goes in for the score, 7-0 Braves. The Greyhounds then try to get their running attack on track, but not on this play. That's Trevor Russell going absolutely no place, but Atascadero would pour it on in the second half, and sometimes the pictures don't tell the story. Atascadero runs by Lompoc 34-21. It's the Greyhounds' second win of the year. Atascadero 34, Lompoc 21.
Meanwhile, at Rigetti, the Warriors were looking for their second straight win after dropping their first 3 games.
Week at St. Joseph.
And we stay in the Los Padres League now. After struggling through their non-league schedule, the Atascadero Greyhounds certainly wanted to start the LPL season on the right paw. To do that, they would have to win at Morro Bay.
For a change, the Pirates believed they could beat Atascadero. That's half the battle, not succumbing to the Greyhound mystique. One guy who's still living off his past glories is Dustin Harrison. Dustin, break down the Bucks and Hounds for us.
Well, Atascadero has beaten Morro Bay 21 straight times, but this year may be different. Morro Bay has won 3 straight thanks to their finely tuned option attack, which averages nearly 250 yards rushing per game. The Pirates also have home field advantage. For Atascadero, currently ranked 9th in CIF, they've battled some key injuries, but tonight the Greyhounds have history on their side. To Morro Bay High School, this guy's not tired. He's trying to seam. Get a breather, buddy. Anyways, Atascadero would start from their own 1 after a Morro Bay punt, and it's picked off by Kevin Dearden. Oh, 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 it's the Pirates' life for me. Morro Bay up 7-0. After a Miranda fumble, Ryan Cloward on the keeper. He rolls right, makes a cut, and then rumbles 15 yards into the end zone. The Pirates up 14-0. Matey. Late in the first, Greyhounds on 4th and 15, Miranda goes for it all. And he's got it all. Greg Denning on the receiving end. Missed PAT. Atascadero will be down 14-6. But Morro Bay would continue to run the football. And with the score close at 20-19, Cloward again on the keeper. Morro Bay would then lead 27-19 and go on to win by a final score of 34-19. Atascadero now 2-4 on the season, 0-1 in the league. Is host to Santa Ynez next week. Morro Bay 4-2 on the season, 1-0 in league, will be at Paso Robles. Now, you know, tough game for Atascadero. Anytime they come on from the road into Morro Bay High School and get down by 14 points early, it's very difficult to come back from that. But you got to give a lot of credit to Morro Bay High School. They have snapped their 21-game losing streak to Atascadero. Congratulations, fellas.
All right,
that's the gridiron gossip here from San Luis Obispo. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Dustin. Congrats to John, Andre, and the troops. We need to pause, but when we get back, the dangerous pause.
Atascadero. Mike?
Those Atascadero Greyhounds on the road to play Morro Bay tonight in the Los Padres League opener for both. The Greyhounds lose. Final score 34-19. Atascadero now 2-4 for the year. Morro Bay is 3-3. As if the Carpinteria Bishop Diego...
Incredible. Now we move to the coast, where Morro Bay was hosting Atascadero at a Greyhound team that hadn't lost to the Pirates since 1974. Great punt here by Kevin Dearden, pinning the Greyhounds inside their own 5-yard line, and that led to more Dearden heroics. This time playing defense, Dearden picking off the pass by Matt Miranda, took it the other way forward. The score 7-0. The Pirates had the lead. After the Greyhounds fumbled on their next possession, it was Pirate time once again. Ryan Cloward, the quarterback, keeping the ball on the option and sneaking his way into the end zone, breaking tackles. Morro Bay was up 14-0. After that, the Greyhounds did come to life a little bit on 4th and 10. Miranda passing to Greg Denning. Great catch. That was a Greyhound touchdown. It was nice, but not enough for Atascadero as Morro Bay breaks their 24-year losing streak to the Greyhounds. Congratulations to the Pirates, a huge win for Morro Bay. They win their 4th game in a row, and as I said, they beat the Greyhounds for the first time since 1974. What a year for the Pirates.
Dave, we've been getting phone calls all night.
Thank you, Scott. I know we're only a week into the league schedule, but things are awfully screwy in the Los Padres League. Okay, Paso is Paso. They are good. But look at what's going on in the LPL, and it makes you do a double take. Exhibit A, Atascadero, perennial powers. The Greyhounds have sometimes looked more like Basset Hounds. And then there's Exhibit B, Santa Ynez. They're as physical as any team in the LPL and may have some inside track position for second place. Happy birthday, Rocky. Go get him on D. First quarter action, Santa Ynez runs the option. QB Greg Gruendijk finds the hole. Untouched, 20 yards. Pirates up 6-0. Gatineau. Then the Pirates get sneaky. It's the fake punt. Gruendijk finds a wide-open Brian Peterson, but Atascadero would D up and stop them on 4 downs. From defense to offense, the Greyhounds have Trayvon Russell. 5 yards, touchdown, and Atascadero leads 7-6. Third quarter now. Everything going the Greyhounds' way. QB Taylor Higbee goes deep to anybody who wants it. I want it, but Josh Keysart who comes down with it. No stopping him, 85 yards. Atascadero leads 14-6, but guess what? Santa Ynez goes on to win 20-14. Yes, in overtime, Santa Ynez pulls out the victory. They are now 2-0 in the LPL. They'll keep that perfect record on the line. They're going for it next week against Paso Robles.
Of both of those games next Friday night. The Santa Ynez Pirates are playing very good football right now. They have won 3 out of their last 4 games. Tonight, the Pirates taking a long bus ride to rival Atascadero to battle those Greyhounds. Friday Football Focus reporter Todd Strain was at the game, and he joins us with the action. Todd?
Hey, thanks, Jerry. The Atascadero Greyhounds actually picked up a win and a loss last Friday. How'd they do it? Well, because of an ineligible player on Wainimi on October 2nd, the Greyhounds were credited with a win over the Vikings. So they get a W off the field, on the field. Atascadero goes to Morro Bay, and for the first time in 24 years, in the cold and the fog, they lose at the Big Rock. So they're entering tonight's game at 3-3. Out to the stadium we go. Greyhound quarterback Taylor Higbee starting in place of Craig Denning. 3rd and long. Not a good situation for him. Look at Nathan Shaw with the tip and control for the INT. Next play, Greg Gruendijk hands off to Jeff with a G. Lobo, gain a 6. And then it's Greg Gruendijk. This side, look at this, ain't nothing but a G thing on the option. The start, stop, and start again. Look at him profile it into the end zone. A lot of G's in that Santa Ynez backfield. Dare I say, gee whiz, what a touchdown. 6-0, Santa Ynez. Pirates back on offense on 3rd and 6, more Gruendijk. He's going to roll here, elude the rush, and pull it down. He's the Los Padres League version of lethal weapon. That's a first down. 2 plays later, number 24 is going to drop, and he's going to showcase his arm. He's going to find Robbie Peterson, number 22, on the sidelines, working back for him. That's another first down. Later in the drive, it would stall. So 4th down, 1 week before Halloween. Coach Ken Gruendijk with some trick and treat, the fake punt. Number 10, Brian Peterson to the 3-yard line. That sets up 3rd and goal, and the Atascadero Greyhounds start the second quarter with some defense. Nothing going on 1st down. On 2nd down, they stand them up, and not in my house. 3rd down, the Greyhounds start to growl. You could hear them on the sideline. Roof, roof, roof. Setting up 4th and goal. There's the official, and look at the Greyhounds protect their property. What a goal line stand. Atascadero is going to start to get going here late in the second quarter. Quarterback Taylor Higbee is going to start to find his rhythm here with a nice drop, and he connects to Brandon Cohen, his big target. That's good for a couple yards, but pretty much not much going on in the first half. It was orange on orange battle tonight. Oranges everywhere, but not much juice. Only 6-0 Santa Ynez at the half. A little more offense in the second. Santa Ynez goes on to win this game 20-14. Santa Ynez improves to 2-0 in league, 5-2 overall. Meanwhile, Atascadero is going to drop to 0-2 in league, a very unfamiliar position to them. The Greyhounds are at St. Joseph next week. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Todd. Those St. Joseph Knights at home.
Welcome back to Football Friday night. We now head to Atascadero.
Dave, the Greyhounds looking to bounce back from their loss to Morro Bay. Tonight they had to take on the Pirates again,
These Pirates are from Santa Ynez. This was the best game of the night, first quarter. It's Greg Gruendijk on the keeper for the Pirates. He finds Pater, 6-0 Santa Ynez, point after fail. Back come the Greyhounds, third quarter. Atascadero's Previn Russell goes up the gut for the touchdown. 7-6 Greyhounds, they got the extra point. Third quarter still, Greyhounds quarterback Matt Miranda with a huge touchdown strike to Josh Kazart. This play will cover 84 yards on the play. Greyhounds go up 14-6. But in the fourth quarter, here come the Pirates. It would be Gruendijk finding Jeff LeBeau. This play will cover 59 yards. And John Rona makes the touchdown-saving tackle for Atascadero on the play. Doesn't matter. On the next play, Gruendijk to Evan Ho. And that's a touchdown, folks. The Pirates get the two-point conversion, making it 14-14. It went to overtime. Santa Ynez won the toss. On the second play of overtime, it's Greg Ortiz, 17 yards for the score. Look at him just bull into the end zone, 20-14 Pirates. Santa Ynez misses the PAT. Atascadero with one final shot. They fumble it away. Pirates in overtime pull it out on the road. Santa Ynez moves to 5-2 overall with the 20-14 win. Struggling, Cabrillo visiting St. Joe's, and Cabrillo comes up.
Joseph, the Knights have been the better team thus far in the season, but if Atascadero had any designs on the playoffs, this was a must-win game. Jeff has all the gory details in our big board game of the week.
Ooh, gory details. A scary thought for Atascadero fans. A loss tonight would probably ensure no playoffs for the Greyhounds this year. It would be the first time the Orange Crush would miss the postseason in 6 years. The Greyhounds are not alone. A St. Joe loss would be a nightmare on Foster Street. The Knights are ranked 6th in Division 10, but a loss would drop them from the CIF rankings and drop them behind Atascadero and Morro Bay in the race for third place. Atascadero and St. Joe. Wayne King, for some reason, likes to watch the game from up top. Up 7-0, the Knights are until Toby Manning kicks the field goal to cut it to 7-3. Second quarter now, the Hounds have third and goal at the 3. Greg Denning, touchdown to Pat Conlon, but there's a flag. Now it's third and goal at the 8. Denning back to pass, in trouble, surrounded by 4 Knights, fumbles, recovered by Jason Coppola. And Matt Kova gets hot. Without much of a running game, he's the man. He hits Ryan Smith for the first down. The drive is capped off by Derek McFay's 30-yard field goal, 10-3 St. Joe. Third quarter, Hounds coach Greg Asbury opens it up. Denning to Ilya Vrajic. Nice catch. That sets up the 4-yard Trayvon Russell score. Russell starting to have a good second half this year. Trust me, he's in. He's under that pile somewhere. 10-9 because the PAT is no good. Fourth quarter, the Dogs do have bite tonight. On their next drive, they take their first lead. Russell again, and that's all they would need. St. Joe could not come back at Atascadero. When they need to, they come up big, and they beat St. Joe 15-10. So now both teams are 1-2 in league. Atascadero next week has Cabrillo. St. Joe at Paso Robles. Big trouble now for St. Joe, Scott, because
Joseph next week. For Santa Ynez, they remain at home to face Morro Bay 1 week from tonight. Later in the show, we'll have a feature story on former Santa Ynez star Tyler Otis. Mike?
Wow, great game there. In order for the St. Joseph Knights to keep their league title hopes alive, they would need to beat Atascadero tonight. Last week, the Greyhounds lost in overtime to Santa Ynez to fall to 0-2 in league. Let's get out to Santa Maria. Atascadero's Greg Denning sacked by Joe Rodriguez. Atascadero coming right back. Denning to Russell Monteith, and this play goes 19 yards. St. Joe's currently leading this game 10-3. But the Greyhounds going to turn it over on downs on the incomplete 4th and 5. But Atascadero plays good defense. They get the ball back. Denning to Ilya Varic, 31 yards. A couple plays later, Trayvon Russell into the end zone. The PAT is good, and Atascadero, no, the PAT blocked. So Atascadero still trails 10-9. Fourth quarter, St. Joe's going to get flagged here for pass interference. Those change. I don't know about that. A tough one there, huh? Trayvon Russell. Talk about tough. He's in the end zone. It was 15-10 Atascadero. The two-point conversion would fail. But you know what? It didn't matter because the Greyhounds pick up their first league win on the season. Final score 15-10. So the Knights fall to 1-2 in league, 5-3 overall. For Atascadero, they are now 1-2 in league, 4-4 overall. The Greyhounds host Cabrillo next week, Jerry.
Trayvon Russell, a good game tonight. Mike, those Cabrillo Conquistadors have sure had a tough season so far. The
Incredible game at San Luis Obispo. St. Joe hosting Atascadero. The Knights strike quickly. Matt Kova flips to Sean Portillo, and Portilla is going to cruise. This play covers 77 yards on the game's first play from scrimmage. Knights go up 7-0. But that was it in the first half. Let's go to the third quarter now, as Greyhounds quarterback Greg Denny flips to Elijah Krajek. This play is going to go 30 yards, and that'll set up a score because it's Trayvon Russell. This kid can move the football. Trayvon moving the pile, getting in. Atascadero missed the point after. It's 10-9 Knights. Fourth quarter now, key play in the game. Greyhounds on the attack. Denning throwing. This is a very controversial flag. Where's the interference there? I didn't see any. Sets up a touchdown. It's Trayvon Russell with the game-winning score. The Greyhounds get the victory on the road, 15-10. So I guess in kind of a surprise, it's St. Joe's losing at home to Atascadero. The Greyhounds win on the road, 15-10 over the Knights.
The defending CIF champion Arroyo Grande Eagles have nested atop the Northern League once.
Get yourself back here on the set. Our football seesaw now swings back to the Los Padres League. Cabrillo has spent the entire season looking for positives, and a road win over Atascadero would be just what the doctor ordered. But that win would be tough to come by. The Greyhound bus, Trayvon Russell, kicked it into gear last week against St. Joe, rushing for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns in Atascadero's 15-10 win. We go to Memorial Stadium. Looks like fun. Must be homecoming in Atascadero. First quarter, 40-yard line running back Alden George takes it for Cabrillo. Good blocking by the O-line, and George goes in 40 yards. 7-0 Cabrillo. They've got the lead. Cabrillo on defense. Atascadero QB Greg Denning picked off by Wayne Wiley. The senior showing excellent leadership this year. Returns it 50 yards. That leads to a Cabrillo field goal. 10-0 Cabrillo. Could this be the night? Yes, they would recover. Late in the second, more Conquistadors. Sean Greenwood sneaks it in for a yard out. 17-0 Conks. Steve Haskins' group looking very good. Then with it 17-7, Wiley, again, the fake field goal comes around the side, 30 yards, 24-7, and Cabrillo does it. Steve Haskins and the Conquistadors get their first win of the season, 24-14. Congratulations to Cabrillo High School. We knew they'd get it done before the season ended. They get their first win. They get to go for 2 in a row. What a way to end the season. Next week against San Ynez, Atascadero and Paso Robles next week. That's always a fun one. The Rio Grande Eagles had the night off.
That's why they play that game. The Atascadero Greyhounds got a much-needed victory last week as they won at St. Joseph. Tonight, the Greyhounds hosting Cabrillo. For more on the game, let's turn it over to Friday Football Focus reporter Todd Strain. Todd?
Hey, thanks a lot, Jerry. The Cabrillo Conquistadors are winless on the year this year. However, in last week's loss, they showed some signs of life, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where they put up 16 points, which is 6 more than they had scored in their previous 7 games together. Homecoming tonight out at Atascadero. The Cabrillo Conquistador offense kept the momentum going. Running back Wayne Wiley off left tackle bounces it outside for a gain of 16. 4 plays later, Cabrillo is 50 yards away from the end zone. But with their new attack, that's no problem. Look at number 3, Aldrin George. There he is, out into the open and into the end zone. 7-0 Cabrillo. They're spoiling Atascadero homecoming. Baby Blue Eyes and alumni here want the Atascadero offense to get going, so they turn it over to Trayvon Russell. Look at the O-line, great surge there. That's Russell for 20 yards. And next play, it's going to be Russell again. Uptown, downtown, your town, my town. Number 24 can flat out run the ball. Look at him there with a nice gainer. Later in the drive, it's 3rd and long, and Cabrillo's number 20 again, Wayne Wiley, double W, steps in front there from a safety position for the INT. He's going to bring it back across field, 47 yards on the return all the way to the Atascadero 18, and that would set up this Ian 21-yard field goal coming up right there. Look at Ian, put it through the uprights. It's 10-0 Cabrillo. Great special teams play all night by Cabrillo, and so many times we see a pooch kick guys go through the end zone. Look at Aldrin George's right foot here, sweeter than wine, softer than a summer's night. He nestles it down to the 7-yard line there. Great job by Aldrin. Second quarter, the Wayne Wiley show is going to continue. He's going to bounce it outside, as he is apt to do. That's a gain of 13. Later in the drive, 4th and 3, QB Sean Greenwood. Play action, and who else? Wayne Wiley. He can run, he can catch, and he can catch and run. Look at the move down to the 3-yard line. That's going to set up Sean Greenwood on the QB sneak right there in La Casa. 17-0 Cabrillo. Shout, shout, let it all out. Cabrillo, you guys are winners for the first time this year. 24-14 is your final. The Greyhounds lose on homecoming. They fall to 1-3 in league, 4-5 overall. They host Paso Robles next week, while Cabrillo gets their first win of the year. They are now 1-8 on the year. Let's send it back to you, Jerry.
And Todd, coming into tonight, just 26.
Morro Bay comes away with a 3-point win. Morro clinches a playoff berth. Santa Ynez moves into a 3-way tie with Paso and Morro Bay for first place in the Los Padres League at 3-1.
A shocker.
Big shocker here. Cabrillo looking to upset Atascadero on Atascadero's homecoming. And with plays like this, it wasn't hard to see why they were playing well. Dallas Brown with the stop. Cabrillo, meanwhile, getting some clutch plays on offense. 3rd and 16, Wayne Wiley on the draw. Scoots up the middle, gets the first down for the Conquistadors. Same drive, 4th and 4. Watch Sean Greenwood swinging out to Wiley. And when you've got moves like this, get the ball to him every time. Up the sideline, cuts back, all the way down to the Atascadero 2-yard line, 1st and goal. And 2 plays later, Greenwood getting a little softish on the keeper. They wait for the call. It was a touchdown, 17-0. Cabrillo was leading. Atascadero desperately trying to get on the board before the half. Dustin Eddy, a big run across midfield and into Cabrillo territory, but the Conquistadors snuffed the Greyhound threat on the next play. Nakai Kawai, nice name, nice interception. That ended the threat right before the half, and wow, one word, wow. 24-14 Cabrillo, their first win of the year. They do it on the road, spoiling Atascadero's homecoming. The Conquistadors over the Greyhounds by 10, 24-14.
And you know, Cabrillo's worked hard all year. I don't like to play favorites, but it's nice to see at least they get a win. I'm sorry, it's at Atascadero's, you know, expense.
Tough break for the Greyhounds. You don't like to see that on home.
No, not at all.
Eagles, both teams will, of course, make it into the postseason.
Well, we'll call this Who Would Have Guessed It Part 2. Back in August, it looked like Paso Robles and Atascadero might very well be playing tonight for a Los Padres League title. While that was far from the case, the game did have big-time implications for both teams. Paso would clinch at least a share of the LPL crown with a win. Atascadero would get into the playoffs with a victory and some help from Santa Ynez. Paso was the favorite, but keep in mind, the Dogs had beaten the Cats 5 straight and 7 of the last 8. A rivalry renewed at Memorial Stadium tonight. We take you to Atascadero. Second Paso possession. Wide receiver Waylon Waters gets the handoff. Nice moves down the sideline. He's in for the touchdown. PAT no good, 6-0. Paso Robles. Very next possession, Nick Freitas to Dre Nicholson. That's good for 30 yards. Sweetness. Look at Dre weaving through the defense. Couple of plays later, Freitas looking for Waters again, who had a huge night. Back of the end zone, touchdown, 12-0. Paso Robles. Greyhounds. The punt, and then 2 plays later. Freitas, pump fake, going deep for guess who? Waters. 28-yard touchdown strike. It's 19-0. The Paso crowd loving every minute of this one. More reason to cheer. The Freitas to Waters connection. What is going on here? Somebody guard this guy. 40 yards on this one. It's 26-0 Paso. We're still in the second quarter, and moments later, after a Greyhound fumble, Paso gets 6 more. Freitas to Brian Davenport. Paso rolls over the Greyhounds by a final score of 52-6. So a big night for Bill Stansbury and Paso Robles, picking up steam heading into the postseason.
And Rigetti are all headed to the postseason. They will find out who they are playing on Sunday. Now to the Los Padres League, where it was a madhouse in Atascadero for the big rivalry game with Paso Robles. Friday Football Focus reporter Rich Garcia was at the game, and he joins us now. Rich, what do you have for us?
Put on some good miles on that car, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Yes, you did.
Paso Robles Bearcats needed a win tonight to have a shot at a tie for the league title. Meanwhile, Atascaderos had to win to keep their postseason hopes alive, and they were slim ones at that. Let's take a good look here at Brett Collins, and without question, he's the man for Paso, but there's a new man, and here he is. His name is Waylon Wouters. Wouters with the inside handoff, sheds a couple of tackles and muscles his way in. 6-0 Paso, PAT no good. The Hounds go 3 and out. Bearcats Nick Freitas back to pass. Plenty of time. Finds Brian Davenport. He picks up 19 nice yards. Critical play on the drive. 3rd and 9. Freitas finds Andre Nicholson. Nicholson with a nice grab and adds a great run after the catch. That play good for 27 yards down to the 13. Paso's still going to do it through the air. What a play here. Freitas on the timing pattern, and it's Waylon Wouters going upstairs to the top floor. Makes the catch. 2 TDs for Wouters, 12-0 Cats, and no offense for Atascadero to speak of. Right here, Greg Denning is sacked on the screen. Only 2 first downs. Here's Freitas with the pump fake. John Arona bites on it and can't recover, and it's Wouters again with yet another TD. 19-0 Paso. Atascadero coach Greg Asbury scratching his head. Oh boy. Atascadero coach looking for something, but we showed you Brett Collins early in the opening. Here's Collins doing what he does best. Busting tackles, picking up large chunks of yardage, and you know what? How about one more score for the Bearcats and one more for Wouters? This one of the spectacular variety. Look at that, guys. What a grab. 4 TDs in the first half, 26-0 at that point. The route is on. 52-6 is the final score, and what a ball game that turns out to be. Paso Robles Bearcats improved to 4-1 in league, 9-1 overall. For Atascadero, they end up 1-4 in league and 4-6 for the season. Let's send it over to you, Mike, for some more Los Padres League action.
Thanks a lot, Rich. You figured Paso would win, but you thought Atascadero would show up, huh? San Ynez Pirates would get at least a piece of the Los Padres League title.
Title up for grabs tonight, but the Los Padres League title as well.
That's right. And tonight in Atascadero, Paso Robles had a chance to win the crown if they win tonight, and the Greyhounds needed a win just to stay alive in the postseason. But tonight was all about Waylon Wouters. What a big night for the Bearcats senior. First quarter, Wouters on the end around. Nice moves, juking his way into the end zone. 6-0, Paso had the lead. The Bearcat had Atascadero's number on defense as well. Ryan Rhodes' sack here ended the first quarter and began a nightmarish 12 minutes for the Greyhounds. Paso here, their first drive of the second quarter, facing third down. Nick Freitas to Andre Nicholson, and watch Nicholson get all the yards he would need and more for a Paso first down. And that set up Freitas once again, this time going to Wouters in the corner of the end zone. Great catch. Paso was up 12-0. After a bad punt, the Bearcats were back in business, and it was Freitas to Wouters. Once again, the give and go. And that is a beautiful play. 19-0 after the extra points. Paso was in business, and the Waylon Wouters show wasn't over yet. Still in the second quarter, almost a replay of the last score. Freitas to Wouters. Yes, he did get a foot down. That was a touchdown, and Paso wasn't done just yet. Atascadero fumbled, gave Paso about 1 minute left in the half, and yes, Freitas once again, this time to Brian Davenport, his other wide receiver. 32-0 at the half. The route was on. Mercifully, these highlights are over. The Bearcats head to the playoffs with a huge win, 52-6 statement. Meanwhile, yes, the Greyhounds will have to sit out the postseason. Morro Bay had a chance to win their first Los Padres League title for the first time since